What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Pashawty Coyote, and today I have another video where I think about what could have been, what should have been, what should be, what can be, rather than what is, because let's be honest, what is matters the most. But hey, that's just me having way too much free time on my hands, and so yeah, here I am talking to you about something that probably doesn't even make any sense and will never happen. So why am I even doing this? I don't know, man. Let's just get into it. Look, I was thinking about Zack Snyder's Justice League, the 4-hour-long Justice League, and how much better, how superior it was to the theatrical cut. And then I also saw in the news that Zack Snyder actually had a whole plan, a 3-movie or actually a 5-movie plan for the DC universe, or what is now known as the Snyder Verse. Now, if WB is smart, they will restore the Snyder Verse, but they're not. They're quite stupid, which is quite visible with the first or the theatrical cut of Justice League that they put out that they thought was going to be good, better than this Snyder cut. So yeah, they're not going to continue the Snyder Verse. And so I thought, you know what, how about we try and rebuild the DCEU using Zack Snyder's original plan, as well as adding a bit more to it on my own. It's going to be a bit difficult, but yeah, let's do it. Let's do something that'll make the executives happy as well as the fans. Well, in my opinion at least, and I'm an idiot, so this might be a disaster, but let's jump into it anyways. So we start off with Man of Steel. Fine, we can start off with it just as it is. That movie had a couple of problems. Superman in that movie, for my liking at least, was a bit too hesitant, a bit too passive, and he was sort of forced into situations rather than him going into them on his own accord, leading from the front like Superman does. But that's alright, it's Zack Snyder's version of the Superman. We'll give it a pass. We have Man of Steel. Now we have a story about Superman, his origin, everything's set. We don't need to worry about that. We got that. Everything's good. Let's move on to the next movie, BVS. Now again, that movie had some problems as well, but we're not going to try to fix those problems. We're just going to try to fix this universe overall. Although if we could try and fix that Martha scene, you know, I'd very much appreciate it, as well as many other fans. Yeah. So now you have Man of Steel and BVS. So we know about Batman already, so we don't need a origin story for Batman. Also, we've had the Dark Knight trilogy before this. Christopher Nolan has absolutely smashed it with all 3 movies. The Dark Knight in particular. So we don't need a recap of that. I mean, pretty much everyone have seen it. Some of the greatest movies ever made. So let's just skip past Batman. We already know who he is. BVS, Man of Steel, works out well. And also BVS is important because it sets up the next few movies. I mean, in BVS they advertised, and this was one of the reasons why some people didn't really like it, they advertised other superheroes. It was advertisement for other movies more than its own thing, which I don't think is entirely fair. Yes, they did try to advertise other movies for others in particular, but at the same time BVS had a plot and it had a good story. I enjoyed it, but I am a fanboy, so there's that. In BVS, we get to see Diana, and we not only see Diana, but we see the Wonder Woman as well. So we get a little bit of an introduction. We see her powers as well, and so it's only fair that the 3rd movie should be a Wonder Woman movie, an origin story. The way they did it, like I said, I didn't have any problems with it. I enjoyed it a lot, but then again, I even enjoyed Suicide Squad, so that's just me being a fanboy. How many times am I gonna say that? We've got a Wonder Woman movie now as well. The 3rd movie, we got a background of Diana, a standalone movie for her. Now we know what she's up to, where she came from, where she will be going next. All of the good stuff. Alright, makes sense, right? I hope it does. Let's move on to the 4th movie, a Flash movie. Alright, so why the Flash? Well, simply because we get sort of an introduction, not really, but a glimpse of Flash in BVS. You know that sequence where Batman is sitting in his chair like this, and he appears out of nowhere, and he's like, what's going on here? Anyways, I butchered that scene, but it's a pretty cool scene actually. So we get to see the Flash a little bit. So it makes sense to have the 4th movie be the Flash movie, give him a standalone movie. And also, how many years has it been since we had a good Flash movie? Actually, now that I think about it, I don't even think we've had one at all. I'm not talking about animated series or anything like that. I'm talking about a live action movie like Man of Steel and The Dark Knight, etc. We haven't really. So it's time to introduce the Flash. Develop his character a little bit, give him a background story, introduce him to the world. The fifth movie will be the Aquaman. Okay, I know I suck at singing. Come on, you don't have to bully me. But yeah, we get Aquaman. We got an origin story for him. Same movie as they have, but we release it now. Now we know more about Aquaman. He's been introduced to the world. We know about his mother, his father, his origins, character development. Very important, which is something that these DC movies are lacking. Now we know about the Flash. Now we know about Wonder Woman. We already knew about Batman, but we know a little more about Batman through BVS. We know about Man of Steel, Superman. Time to start connecting the world, although we have sort of already done that in BVS prematurely, but it's alright. It's already done. Let's move past it. There's something that Diana mentions in the Zack Snyder cut of the Justice League, which made me think that there could be a movie that would come before the Justice League that would make a lot of sense. And also it would give us a movie where we would explore two different worlds a bit more, because we at this point know very little about both those worlds. We've only got one movie each, Aquaman and Wonder Woman. I'm obviously talking about Themyscira and Atlantis. There's a little bit of friction between these two factions, the Themyscirans, or otherwise known as the Amazons, or the Atlanteans, right? Those two don't really get along from what we hear from Diana Prince when she's talking to Bruce Wayne. There's a nice plot right there. Have a movie about that conflict, the Atlantean-Amazonian War. I don't know what that movie would be called. I'm not smart enough to come up with the name, but there's a nice movie to be made, I'm sure. A competent director and writer and producer and cast and all that good stuff will come up with it. It's way above my pay grade, that's for sure. Also, that movie would set up the next movie that I'm going to talk about, which is the seventh movie, by the way, because this Atlantean War movie would be the sixth one. So now we're in the seventh movie. By the way, if they want to make a Suicide Squad at this point, they are more than welcome to do so. But that movie, well, at least how they did it, has nothing to do really with this world that we're trying to build. So yeah, they can do whatever they want there. They can have a Suicide Squad in the middle of that. But it's not really connected to the storyline that I'm trying to build. So that's why it'll be sort of a separate thing. But yeah, have a way with that. Do it however you want. Just better than the way you already did it. I'm hoping James Gunn does a better job than David Ayer did. Also Shazam, if they want a Shazam movie. Shazam could also sort of link to Wonder Woman, because there is a comic known as War of Gods, where Shazam is part of it. So is Superman, actually. Well, there's a few mainstream heroes, who are part of that as well. So we could work there with something. Now I'm making it way too complicated. Alright, let's get back on track. I'm getting sidetracked here. The seventh movie will be the Invasion of Earth. First Invasion of Earth, which was done by a young Darkseid. Now we get that story in Zack Snyder's Justice League, but it's a huge event, right? It's something that is beautiful, really. I mean, let's be honest. It is beautiful. All these different factions coming together, joining forces against Darkseid. I mean, that is just brilliant. So the story as it's told in the Zack Snyder's Justice League is that a young Dark Snyder... oh boy, I called him Dark Snyder. Darkseid... A young Darkseid gains temporary access to the anti-life equation, but before he can use it, he's stopped by the four factions: the Atlanteans, the Amazons. I keep calling them Themyscirans. Amazons, man! The Old Gods and humans. They all come together to save the world from Darkseid, and Darkseid brings an army of parademons and Unity with him with the use of the three mother boxes. So in that movie, not only do you sort of squish the beef between the Atlanteans and Amazons, which was the previous movie, but also you introduce Darkseid, you introduce the anti-life equation, and more importantly, you introduce the mother bitches. I mean the mother boxes. Oh, I forgot about Green Lantern Corp. Yalin from Green Lantern Corp is also there helping with these guys against Darkseid. So now you've introduced Green Lantern in there as well. Brilliant! This movie will explain a lot of stuff. Like I said, squish the beef between Atlanteans, Amazons, explain the mother boxes, introduce Darkseid, introduce the gods, and also Green Lantern. And from there we move on to the 8th movie. Now we get a Cyborg movie. We've been teasing Cyborg all this time. We've introduced the mother boxes. We have teased him in BVS as well. Now it's time for him to put it all together and give Cyborg life. He gets his own origin story. His character is developed rather than spending 10-15 minutes in a movie on his character. He gets his whole movie, which is good because he's a very interesting character. He deserves his own movie, man. He's been through a lot, much like pretty much all the superheroes. They all have pretty dark and interesting stories. His relationship with his father and also mother and all that good stuff. We get a glimpse of that, but we would like to expand on that, you know? Slow burn. I'm a fan of that. And from Cyborg, we move on to the 9th movie. Justice League 1. Well, that's not what it'll be called, but I'm just saying, Zack Snyder's Justice League first part, where Steppenwolf comes to Themyscira and takes the mother box from the Amazons. That movie will be about that. The first mother box that Steppenwolf steals from the Amazons. It'll be a whole entire movie. Again, fan of the slow burn. I want that slow burn. Instead of telling me in 15 minutes this happened. No, give me a whole hour-and-a-half movie about it. Show me all these epic fight scenes. This way, not only do we get to explore more of Themyscira and when we get to see more of the Amazons in action, we also get to introduce a new big baddie, Steppenwolf. Here we will get a little bit of an origin story of Steppenwolf as well, why he's doing what he's doing, his connection with Darkseid, all of that good stuff. Again, don't give me that 10-minute explanation, man. Give me that slow burn. I like the burn. I like to feel the burn. Now that movie will end the same way that story ended in Zack Snyder's Justice League, which is by Steppenwolf getting the mother box and defeating the Amazon warriors. And from there, we'll move on to the 10th movie. You might have guessed it already. So, with my shirt, as well as the fact that you've already seen Zack Snyder's Justice League, because that's what we're trying to break down, that's what this whole video is about. Zack Snyder Justice League mentions Steppenwolf getting the second mother box from Atlantis, from the Atlanteans. Now there we'll get a second movie of Aquaman. We'll explore Aquaman, Arthur Curry a bit more, we'll explore Atlantis a bit more, we'll explore his relationship with the Atlanteans and Mira in particular, and more importantly, we'll get to see Steppenwolf boss Arthur Curry and the rest of the Atlanteans around like a bunch of babies. Now in there, before this happens, we'll get that scene with Bruce Wayne and Arthur Curry. Bruce Wayne trying to bring Arthur Curry to join the Justice League, but Arthur Curry says, no, I'm gonna be on my own, man, my man. And he's drinking and throwing his shirts around and just walking around like it's a perfume commercial and he's a underwear model. Yeah. And then eventually it'll lead to Steppenwolf attacking Atlantis, Aquaman trying his best to defend the mother box alongside, like I said, the other Atlanteans, but they will fail just like the Amazons did because they cannot hold it on their own. That's the whole message. We've gotten a movie already telling us that there were a lot of people, different people who had conflicts with each other, who came together, put their differences aside to defend these mother boxes, and it'll take that and that alone to do the same thing yet again. Steppenwolf wins yet again, 2-0 to Steppenwolf. This takes us to the 11th movie. This you can call the Justice League. Now this one you can actually call the Justice League because this movie will be basically Zack Snyder's Justice League, but the final half of it, where, you know, the two mother boxes are already told and we've gotten two separate movies about that. Now it's about the third mother box. Steppenwolf is now stepping down to Earth and he's trying to get the third mother box. And here now, after getting their asses handed to them on a platter by Steppenwolf, Diana and Arthur Curry have joined forces with Bruce Wayne finally listening to reason, joining Justice League. And then the story from there is pretty much the same as the one in the Justice League. They're trying to bring back Superman, Flash is there, Cyborg is there, they're trying to defend Earth and trying to defeat Steppenwolf, and eventually from getting the third mother box. The movie continues the way it does. Flash plays a very important role, so does Cyborg. They eventually bring back Superman. Superman plays a very important role as well. Movie ends the way Zack Snyder's Justice League ends. Darkseid is angry. Now he's angry. He's saying, now we'll try to take over another way. Anti-life equation. Invasion of Earth 2 is now over. Finally, our superheroes win after 2 massive defeats. Now from here, we'll do what Zack Snyder's original vision was. His vision was to have 3... This is not 3, this is 3, was to have 3 Justice League movies. Yes, that's right. Zack Snyder originally wanted just a Justice League trilogy. So, the second Justice League movie will come out, which Zack Snyder explains goes something like this. Now, everything I'm about to say from this point onward, by the way, it's massive spoiler territory, because here's the thing. There's no movie or anything like that about what I'm about to say. This is leaked information. Not really leaked, because Zack Snyder himself leaked it. So it's not technically leaked, but the reason why he did it was because he doesn't think he's gonna get a chance to put this on the big screen. And so that's why he just let it all out. So chances are this is not a spoiler, because it'll never actually come to being. But on the off chance that it does, because we never thought we were gonna get a Snyder cut of the Justice League, but hey, here we are. Just a heads up. Massive spoilers ahead. At the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League, we get to see Lois has a pregnancy test which is positive, as well as Bruce Wayne congratulating Clark Kent. Now, Zack Snyder says that in the future, Superman basically leaves Lois under the protection of Batman. Now, Batman fails in protecting Lois. Lois dies, unfortunately, and with her, her child dies as well, obviously. Superman comes back grieving about Lois and his unborn son. He turns evil. Yeah, he's grieving now, and he sides with Darkseid, who's trying to take over Earth, turn it into a hellscape, and now with Superman on his side. Yeah, well, it's quite easy for him because he absolutely obliterates everyone and everything, and now Darkseid is the Dark Lord alongside Superman. Whatever little remains of the Justice League decides to do the thing that they did in the previous movie, which was go back in time. Now, I'm assuming they're going to do this with the help of Flash. Now, I'm assuming Cyborg and everybody else helps as well, but Flash, if you have seen Zack Snyder's Justice League, well, you know he is the most important part of this whole going back in time and all that jazz. Now, a reason why they want to go back in time is to save Lois. Now, Batman promised Superman that he's going to save, that he's going to protect Lois. He failed, so now he wants to do good on his promise, goes back in time, saves promise, does good on his promise, but in the process of saving Lois and her unborn child, Batman dies. Sacrifice himself for Lois, and now in this timeline, Lois lives, Batman dies. I'm assuming that'll be the end of the second Justice League movie, and so then we'll go on to, what is it now, 13th? I think so. The 13th movie, where Lois is gonna have Superman's child, or Clark Kent, or Kal-El, whatever you want to call it. They're gonna name him after Bruce, because Bruce did give his life, after all, for this little shit to be born. Bruce Kent will be his name. Now, the baby's not gonna have any power at all, much like the original Bruce. I guess they're right when they say names do actually have an effect on people. Anyways, eventually Bruce Kent is going to be led into the Batcave, where Clark and Lois is going to tell him that your Uncle Bruce would have wanted you to become the Batman and he would be very proud of you, and so on and so forth. I'm not entirely sure how the dialogue would go, but it's going to be something along those lines. Bruce Kent is going to become Bruce Wayne. Not Bruce Wayne, Batman. because the people of Gotham doesn't really know who Batman is. So yes, we will get a new Batman, but he'll be only new to us and the members of the Justice League, the people who knew Bruce Wayne, who will not be new to the world because the world doesn't know who Batman is. Batman is a symbol. And so that will be the end of, I assume, Zack Snyder's DCEU. Also, I just thought about this. I haven't really given this much thought, but with the new Batman, since there's a new Batman movie coming out as well with a new actor, Robert Pattinson, you could use him as Bruce Kent. That could be interesting. Maybe not. I'm not entirely sure. But if things go that way, man, that is something that I would really love to see. So that's what, total 13 movies that I mentioned, all interconnected, with some other movies that are still gonna come out like Shazam and Suicide Squad, and you could potentially have a Green Lantern movie as well, since we introduced the Green Lantern Corps in the Invasion of Earth, the first movie. And you can also have Black Adam, which they're currently working on. We could have Suicide Squad 2, I guess. Whatever, other movies in the middle, but this is just this one timeline, this one storyline that I'm continuing. Together, we'll get about 13-ish movies. That's what I think. That's my opinion. Probably you'll disagree. I just ask you to be very nice if you disagree. Criticize me. Tell me, why do you disagree? Why do you think it's a bad idea? Or if you think it's a good idea, well, tell me it's a good idea and why you like what I just said. And also tell me if you have your own vision for DCEU. What would that look like? In the comments down below, I'd very much appreciate it. Thank you for watching this video. I spend way too much time on this. I hope it makes even a teeny tiny bit of sense. I really hope it does, man. But yeah, if you like the video, do drop a like, hit that subscribe button. Check out my other channels in the comment and the description down below as well. Follow me on social media, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, have a nice